What an awesome slate of games we have this afternoon on week 5 of the college football season. And as good as the games are, there's even a better opportunity at hand to make some money. Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Jacob Kronberg, and welcome into Beat the Bookie. We've got some of the big games, some underdogs, some of my personal picks, and even a parlay. And I've got a little pressure on me this week, as our hosts this fall have been bringing you all in the dough. Over the last 3 weeks, my colleagues Owen Valentine, Will Scott, and Tom Russo have rolled out $300 worth of bets for you, and they're up 8.5 units, or about $85. I do plan on continuing that trend today, so let's get right into it with this week's Games of the Week. We start off in the SEC with one of our ranked matchups. It's number 13 Texas A&M on the road against number 2 Alabama. This Alabama team lost 4 first-round picks last year, and they still put up 38 points in the opener against Mizzou. They're 18.5-point favorites against an Aggies team that looked horrible last week. They put up only 17 points against Vanderbilt, who is regarded as the consensus worst team in the SEC. And their QB, Kellen Mond, he's been historically bad against ranked teams. He averages just 5.9 yards per attempt and converts just over 55% of his passes. Give me $10 on the Crimson Tide. Over to the Big 12, number 18 Oklahoma travels to Iowa State, two teams that are 1-1 with particularly bad losses. The difference is this week is Oklahoma is going to come out swinging and angry. They fell apart in the second half against Kansas State last week, and I mean they crumbled. A 21-point lead that they just gave away. You can't expect that again from a team that always finds itself in playoff contention and is led by a Heisman candidate, Spencer Rattler. The Sooners are 7.5-point favorites, and I think they come out with a bang and cover with ease. I'll take $15 on Oklahoma to cover and cover big time. Back to the SEC with the game of the week. Number 7 Auburn and number 4 Georgia, two teams that are known for their stout defenses. That will be prevalent today. Bo Nix is a guy with a low completion percentage of about 59% in his career. He was 16 of 27 last year against the Bulldogs in a game that ended 21-14. It was a close one, a defensive battle. JT Daniels is expected to make his debut for Georgia after transferring from USC. He hasn't played in a long time. I don't expect him to be clicking with that offense quite yet and 100% ready with the playbook. I think Auburn's defense stymies Daniels enough today to cover the 7 points. Give me $10 on the Tigers at +7. Let's go to some of my personal picks of the week. Here's a quick hint for them. I like offense. I'm going to stay in the SEC with South Carolina at number 3 Florida. Last week, the Gators showed why they have one of the best offenses in the country. They scored 51 points against Ole Miss, and they'll prove it again this week. I love the over at 57.5 between the Gators and the Gamecocks. Florida has flipped their historic script. They're an average defense now with an elite offense. And South Carolina could score the ball as well. They put up 27 points on a plus Tennessee defense last week. Hammer this over. Give me $15. I'm sticking with another over-under game on this bet, this time when number 9 Texas hosts TCU. In 2 games this year, the Longhorns have put up, only 122 points. TCU added 34 points of their own in a loss to Iowa State last week. That's their only game. Plus, this is the Big 12. Nobody in the Big 12 plays defense anyway. It's going to be another shootout, another easy over at 63 in my mind. Let's toss another $15 on this game. For my lock of the week, I'm going a bit off the grid. It's North Dakota State -23 against Central Arkansas. This is the Bison's only game of the fall season and a showcase game for potential top 5 pick Trey Lance at quarterback. Lance played what some could call a perfect season a year ago. He accounted for 40 total touchdowns and just 1 turnover. He also won a national championship, and I expect no less against a bad Central Arkansas team. This is practically the same North Dakota State team from a year ago that would have covered 23 points in 10 of their 16 games. Trey Lance is going to play this entire game too, no matter the score, no matter the situation. It's just an added guarantee to their cover. Let's roll $15 on the Bison. In North Dakota State, they're a big favorite. But now let's look at an underdog I really like today. It's Ole Miss +7 against Kentucky. Both teams are coming off losses, but Lane Kiffin's squad put up over 600 yards against Florida, a national championship contender. That'll be too much for Kentucky to handle. Simple as that. I'm riding big time on the Lane train, and I'm taking the Rebels to not cover, but win. Give me $10 on Ole Miss at +200. And we've run through all your standard bets. Now it's time to get a little funky. It's not a Saturday unless you run some college football parlay. We're going to dip back into some of our earlier picks to start. The parlay has to have North Dakota State -23. Can't be my lock unless I toss it in the parlay. And then Oklahoma at -7.5. That's an easy cover for the Sooners. I then add Baylor to beat West Virginia at minus 130. They're just the better team. And then North Carolina over BC and Pittsburgh over NC State, both at minus 600. Just to up the ante a little bit, get a few extra bucks in there. $10 on this parlay can net you $80 and change. So let's take a look one more time at my picks of the week. Alabama minus 18.5 against Texas A&M. Oklahoma minus 7.5 against Iowa State. Auburn covers against Georgia plus 7. We've got the over in Texas TCU at 63. We've also got the over on Florida and South Carolina at 57.5. That's perhaps your easiest over of the day. North Dakota State, they're my lock at minus 23 against Central Arkansas. Ole Miss, the upset over Kentucky at plus 200. And then the parlay with NDSU, Oklahoma covering Baylor, UNC, and Pittsburgh to all win. That's all the time we have this week on Beat the Bookie. Happy Saturday and hopefully happy payday for everyone at home. Let's make some big bucks tonight. Be sure to check us out online at CitrusTV.com. And as always, we'll have another edition of Beat the Bookie next Saturday. Until then, I'm Jacob Kronberg. Thanks for watching.